Hello everyone and welcome back to EXA Season 10 Division 1 for the ninth round of the season. We are here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia for the third to last race of the season. The 3.8 mile circuit contains 27 turns, 16 to the left and 11 to the right, with 3 DRS zones completing the circuit. It sits on as one of the most challenging circuits on the calendar, and is a very great track for racing as well. In EXA, we have it is our sixth time coming to this circuit, having raced back here in season 3, where we saw Zoran Pinzaro, take victory before returning to the circuit in season 5 and season 6, where Tony Ritchie took back-to-back wins here after a hiatus in season 7. Season 8 and 9 saw Lucas Rapassa take back-to-back victories here as well across them seasons. However, with all 3 race winners of past not being here tonight, a new winner will emerge. I'm your commentator, Jamie Jackson, and I'll be taking you through tonight's action as we enter the 18 minutes of qualifying very shortly. But first, we've got to go through a few things. Our last race results were Diego Zorzo taking victory and extending his championship lead ahead of Gabriel Contino. Angelo D'Ortenzio and Scarinelli took third and fourth ahead of Larry Tolke and Voltaire Steg. Dabas Cockney, Nelson Alves and Kendon Lutt, as well as Sim Barracks 1, rounded out the top 10. And our last finishers. This leads us with the driver's standings looking like this. Diego Zorzo leading the way by 24 points over the band Luca Rapassa. However, Diego Zorzo has apparently, I'm not sure what's happening with Diego Zorzo. He's not here tonight, so this leaves Larry Tolke as our highest driver in the standings, in the leading the way in third, while Thomas Cockney and Jensen Rosen sit fourth and fifth. Tony Hurtella, Gabriel Condino, Angelo D'Ortenzio, Liam Stevens and Pascal Ranelli round out the top 10. Our constructor standings, Mercedes lead the way by 33 points over Williams, while Red Bull, Haas, RB and Ferrari sit themselves in third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Alpine in 7th, Aston Martin 8th, McLaren 9th and Sauber in 10th. Diego Zorzo has retired from F1 racing. So I knew Luca Rapassa had been banned, and obviously Diego Zorzo has now retired from racing on F1. Fair enough to him. So that leaves us with Larry Tolke basically trying to cut down a 29-point gap in his last 3 races, as well as Thomas Cockney, Jensen Rosen as well, trying to cut down their gap. So Taylor also in that fight, as well as Gabriel Condino. However, they've got to catch Diego Zorzo to be crowned champion. So that leaves us with qualifying then, as we go through the session. I'm just going to check all these, make sure we're all okay. Both streams are all good, so that's nice to hear. Thank you for everyone joining tonight. So we do have a fair bit of action ahead of us. We now go Gabriel Mata, on-board Gabriel Mata, who is following another the special liveried RB car. We have a few of them on this game now, so that's gonna be fun to get used to. People kind of showing off what they want to drive in, if they've got the special liveries, if they've earned them. So we're gonna see how that cracks on. I'm going to get myself some data up. Track map, lap data. Leave the rest off for now. Who is going to be the first one to cross the line? It will be a Red Bull, I believe, of Cameron Dowd. Yes, it will be Cameron Dowd, coming around towards the end of the lap to end his outlap and start his flying lap as he goes very wide on entry to get the run on the exit. He'll run down towards turn 1. DRS enabled, now sticking to the right hand side of the grid to make sure that he can maximise the distance to the line to optimise the top end speed into turn 1. Lock up there, but continues to keep the line. Gets a bit of oversteer as he will spins off the exit as we go through towards turn 4 and 5. Be careful of the wall on the inside there, but then you've got to be careful, and he's gone into the wall. He's got a big step of oversteer, and Cameron Dowd's in the wall and out the session in the early phases. That is huge. Immediately a huge accident, and he's unfortunately out of that one as everyone comes flying round. Comes now making a car park around the final corner to get themselves enough space to get going. But that is a big name early on who is out the session. It is going to be then maybe the Haas of Valentino Labella. Yes, Valentino Labella. Or is it Jensen Rosen? No, it is Valentino Labella. I believe it's going to be the first one to set a time. I'm not sure if there's the other two ahead are out on laps at this moment. Maybe Tamas is, potentially. Tamas is on a lap currently, so we'll stick on with Tamas as he goes through Sector 2 now. Through, just flat out through here. You've got to be hopeful in the race that there's no one gonna come you're gonna come around those blind curves and end up in with someone in your pathway. You've got to be very careful of that and have reaction times like a cat as we now go running down towards the final corner for the first time this session. Can Tamas put himself into a good position on his first flying run up towards the line? Use up all his ERS just for the line. That's going to lose him maybe a couple hundreds there. 25.7 is what everyone is chasing at this stage. It will be the RBs of Florian Pafanzelta and Gabriel Mato, who are going to be next cross line after Valentino Labella. It's a 25.8, goes a tenth slower than what Tamas Kokani does. Florian Pafanzelta now is going to go up towards the line. The RB does 25.9, sits himself right behind the Haas and last of the drivers who set a time before. Gabriel Mato sets a 26.3. Jensen Rosen 25.6 though, goes fastest, making it a Williams 1-2 at this stage. Going to see the next set of drivers coming up towards the line. It will be Gabriel Quintino who goes fastest by just half a tenth of a second of a 25.6, same time as Jensen Rosen, just a couple of hundredths difference as we now see the rest of the field come flying through. It will be Damien Currill going up towards the line. 26.0 from him, puts himself P6. Next up towards the line is going to be Lorenz Patton as he goes towards the line. P8, 26.2 for him, jumping Gabriel Amato, who's the next driver to cross the line. It'll be 16 Linhart, I think it will be. He's not on a proper flying lap though. It's about that one. It'll be the next driver of Alexi Guevara, who is going to come up towards the line in the Japanese in special livery Red Bull. We're going to go round the final corner for the first time for him. What can he do? There's yellow flags here, there and everywhere in this session as drivers try and slow down and regain their battery or have just run out of fuel. As we see Alexi Guevara 26.4 there for the Red Bull. Now continue on. William, who is the next driver across the line? It will be potentially the Alpine, one of the Alpines, maybe Larry Tolke, potentially. Larry Tolke currently going round sector 3, but he's not going any faster. As at the moment, as he's currently waiting for his times, waiting to recharge his battery. Same with the Aston Martin behind him. I wonder if they are getting themselves prepared before another flying lap as everyone comes into the pit lane. Very early on in this session, we will see what is happening. Everyone else coming into the pit lane at the moment. The McLaren of Limbs, of Oliver Knott, currently P7 as well. He's coming in. Every single driver's coming in at this stage. Maybe Lucas Bessina is going to start one. I guess not. He's gone. No, they're all coming into the pit lane. Okay, I guess not. At this stage, is there anything that's happened to cause anything that I may need to know? Yeah, nothing's happened at the moment. That's fine. So everyone else comes into the pit lane. As free drivers remain out on track. It is Voltec Steg, who's currently on a flying lap of some description, maybe, as he go round sector 1, darting it through the curbs. Yeah, he's definitely pushing, at least on this lap. He's going to try and maintain, mate, or he's at least pushing the tyres a bit more than he's pushing his battery. As we now go round towards the long left and the fastest sector 1 according to our timesheets. At this stage, it is going to get very, very tight for these drivers as they continue to push the boundaries, push the pace. It's a very long circuit, the second longest circuit on the calendar. I think it still is. I don't know if Vegas counts as further now. But still, a lot of corners and a lot of places where it can all go wrong. Probably the most places in general where it can all go wrong as well. We now go round the next couple of corners. So we go through towards sector 3, up towards the final corner now, final braking zone of the circuit. Sorry, over now, run into the final braking zone, round the left-hander. What can Voltec Steg do, or will he go up towards the top? Will he challenge Gabriel Quintino and Jensen Rosen at top, or will he be a bit further down? Currently P10, 26.4, 8 tenths off of the original pole sitting time at the moment. We currently have Liam Stevens currently going around for his out lap. I wonder if everyone is going around for their second lap. We're going with Liam Stevens, who's currently in the chrome liveried McLaren Papaya car, as the can Liam Stevens put his name at the top end of the field. He currently sits without a time, just like Larry Tolke, 6'10", Lindhart, Pascal Ranelli, Cameron Downs, and Angelo Tortensio, and Luca Bessina. Red Bull and the Ferrari will not set a time this session after retiring earlier on. Liam Stevens, 32.7 in the first sector. What can we expect from the McLaren as he goes through the exit of that long bank to left-hander? It's so easy to take the wrong line through there as he flies through the chicane now, bounces against the wall. Just you'll lose a bit of tyre life there using that, but it may be beneficial just keeping the car as tight and as fast as possible, maximising the opportunity. Goes through the left and the right against the white line. Got to keep it tidy there, son. But at the moment, he has done so, kept it in the white lines. Now he's got one braking point left. He's got a couple drivers slowing down for their to start their flying laps. Will that get in his way? Around the final corner he goes. He will get a bit of a slipstream off the back of the Alpine, but he can't really take that because the Alpine's going to take the the longer line on the start of his lap. He will not do so. Liam Stevens, 29.5. He's really not had a good luck there in comparison to what we saw from his rivals. So next up will be the Aston Martin, I presume. No, they're both on outlaps, so I guess it's not going to be an Aston Martin. We'll have a look and see if we can find a Red Bull that is currently on a lap. There is not a Red Bull on a lap. RB. Maybe Gabriel Mato is on a lap. Yes, he is. He's going nearly 4 tenths quicker in the first 2 sectors. What sort of time can we expect from the RB as we go through the final couple, through sector 3 now, through the open up the DRS around this long left-hander. Again, very blind circuit this is, so it's very easy to lose it, to come across someone and end up in your way at the very last moment if you're not paying attention. And Gabriel Mato keeps it tight to the line, 25.9, 3 tenths quicker, goes just behind his teammate by 0.03 of a second. Who is the next across the line? It will be Jensen Rosen, who goes fastest with a 25.4, really putting his stamp there on the matter. We're going to see the next person, Valentino Labella, come into the pit lane. He's invalidated this time. He's not happy with that one. As we next see Larry Tolke potentially. Yes, it will be Larry Tolke up towards the line. What will we expect from the Alpine? 25.8 P5 from the from the French team. As we now go to the next set of people to come across the line, it will be Oliver Knott in the McLaren. Coming up to the line, a P3, 25.7, goes 300 quicker than Thomas Cockney, while Liam Stevens will start his flying lap. The RB of Florian Papanzelta will join him in doing so. We're going to see 16 Lindhart come into the pit lane. We're going to see Damien Carrillo come into the pit lane as well. The next driver will be never mind, he's going to go to P3, 25.6. It looked like he goes in towards the line with a P3 position. Meanwhile, Luca Bessina, 25.9 with a P10. And that is a very mixed grid at the moment. Pascal Ranelli at the moment yet to set a time. The only driver outside of Cameron Downs, Angelo Tortensio, who are starting at the back of the grid, to not set a time. Will we see anyone else make improvements? It will be the next driver to cross the line. Maybe Voltec Steg to start a flying lap. Larry Tolke will be on his in lap. So I presume it will be quite a few drivers back have yet to set a tyre. Well, they're all going around for their outlaps, so we've just got a few moments. A lot of yellow flags. You can't see how much time is left, which is the crucial thing for us. We don't know how much time is left at the moment. as at the moment we are now going to go round the final corner as the RB of Florian Papanzelta goes to 25.7 as things stand. A very good job from the RB, goes P4, 300s quicker than Oliver Knott. And there's quite a few drivers at this stage currently within a couple hundreds of each other at the moment. Meanwhile, Pascal Ranelli is currently starting his drying lap in the Ferrari. Can the Scuderia put himself right in the mix, going through turn 4 and turn 5, and now just got to wait and just got to make sure you get this whole flowy section right. There's not going to be any sort of ERS usage here. You've got to try and make sure you optimise the car, optimise the traction off each corner, optimise it off each curb, optimise every single line as we go 31.4 in the first sector alone, fastest in sector 1 according to our timesheets. Can he manage to go that much faster? As at the moment, we're going to see Pascal Ranelli try and move himself into a good fight through the left and the right. Right and the left, sorry, and he's got to go up towards the DRS zone to end sector 2. DRS open now as he just flows his car through there. He's going to have to come across a McLaren potentially at the end of his lap if that McLaren doesn't get a move on. Cuts across that curb on the exit. It's so fast through there, and that camera angle really proves it as he's got two drivers out in front of him, but I believe they will not get in his way up towards the line. They're going to be trying to come into the pit lane as at the moment around the final corner goes the Ferrari, really thrown the car all the way through this session. DRS to the line, 3 minutes to go. It is a 25.4, goes fastest on his first flying lap of completion. Pascal Ranelli moves himself ahead of Jensen Rosen by 0.04 of a second and moves himself to provisional pole with only a couple minutes left to go in this session. But who can manage it? Who can top him? Voltex Steg currently invalid lap time. He's going to be preparing for another lap in a brief moment as everyone starts to come piling out the pit lane, leaving it right until the last minute to set a time. And to set a statement, Ranelli said that's the best he's doing. He's not going to get another lap in anyway because he's going to run out of time before he can get a new set of tyres to optimise it to lap even more. But he certainly put all his effort into that one lap and has delivered so far. Provisional pole. Is that going to be enough? Vortex Steg comes into the pit lane. And I believe that'll be his session pretty much done because I doubt he's going to get out in time yet. He's retired from the session. So the next driver, or the first driver to set a time. Illegal blocking for Valentino Labella. 5-place grid penalty given to the Haas. And now he is all of a sudden ended up going to end up wherever he starting 5 places further back. He'll be starting P13. Sorry, if he was to finish in P8 at the moment. See whether that makes a difference. We will stick on with our current second place man in the fight for pole. Currently, Jensen Rosen, 300s he needs to gain to beat Pascal Ranelli. Can he manage that? Pascal Ranelli not going to set another lap. This is your only opportunity. Track now is at peak working condition in terms of track evolution. Is there going to be opportunity for Williams to manage that? Damien McCarrill, 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking as well. 2 drivers now, 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. That is very crucial for him. We now will see as the Williams gets himself prepared for his final run in the session. We see a couple drivers going out ahead of him. Oliver Knott, Terence Cockney, Daniel Kroll, 16 Lindhart, and Alexi Cavero all ahead of him. We'll keep an eye on them laps, but we'll keep an eye specifically on this Williams, who is going through the first chicane. Lock up, big lock up there in the first chicane. Pressure is on now as he makes the run down towards sector 2. There is a Mercedes who is off in the he's off the road somewhere. He's got a yellow flag for himself and he is not going to be completing that lap. We continue sector 2 and he's off. Jensen Rosen is off the circuit and that is him out of the, well, not out of the session, but out of the opportunity to take provisional pole, or take pole position in this session. He's guaranteed at best a P2 start. Can anyone top him? It's going to be Gabriel Contino, who is P3 currently, going through Sector 1. There's a lot more drivers who have not set a time yet. Oliver Knott coming around the final corner though. We're going to stick on with him up towards the line. What time can the McLaren do as the drivers start to begin to fall as we go through towards the line? It's P4 for Oliver Knott at this moment in time. Next up is going to be Alexi Cavero, who's coming up towards the line. He's currently a quarter of a second quicker, currently down in P14. Can he go much faster to put himself in there? P12, sorry, 25.9. And then Thomas Gockley goes 25.5. It's going to be the next driver to cross the line will be Larry Tolke, currently invalidated. He is Valentino Labella, invalidated. It will be Gabriel Coutinho, who is going to, not Gabriel Coutinho, it is going to be Lorenz Patton, who's going to cross the line next. But we're going to stick on with Gabriel Coutinho, who's invalidated, unfortunately for him. A lot of drivers have invalidated on these last flying laps. Is it going to be Pavan Zelta, who comes up towards the line? He's currently 1600s down in the first two sectors up towards the line. He's only 300s up, and that is qualifying over. Unless Lucas Bessina can make himself, no, he's invalidated as well. And that is left Pascal Ranelli with pole position for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in EXA Division 1 for Season 10 of Round 9. And that is what a time to do it. He did it a couple minutes earlier than everyone else and put himself in an excellent position at this stage. And now he continues with... and yes, he's done it in an excellent way and moved himself to pole position. That is Pascal Manelli, head of Jensen Rosen, Tamas Cockney, Gabriel Quintino, Oliver Knott, Florian Papanzelto, Sixten Lindhart, Valentino Labella, Larry Tolke, Luca Bessina, Voltec Steg, Alexa Cavero, Gabriel Mato, Lorenz Patton, Liam Stevens, Cameron Dowd, Alejandro D'Ortenzio, and Damien Carrillo round out the grid. Well, it unfortunately for a lot of drivers ended up in a bit of disarray for some of them, because they had a lot of them invalidating those final runs. A couple of them made mistakes in that final run, and crucially that has left some of them yearning for more at the end of the day. But it has certainly not left our pole man, and currently sitting in P1, Ranelli taking himself to pole position and moved him, doing it early on, well, not early on, a couple of minutes earlier than his rivals, and making sure he had that lap in with no traffic, nothing about the pressure. Yes, the pressure was on, but he certainly delivered when the pressure was on, when the lights were on. We were all watching him. Certainly made the difference. And we are into the... We've got Pascal Ranelli, Jensen Rosen, Tamas Cockney, Gabriel Quintino, Oliver Knott, Florian Papanzelta, Sixten Lindhart, Larry Tolke, Lucas Bessina, Voltec Steg, Alex Cavero, Gabriel Mato, Lucas Rabella, Lorenz Patton, Liam Stevens, Karen Dowd, Angelo D'Ortenzio, and Damien Krill, who got disqualified from this session at the for being parked in a dangerous location, with the 16th and 17th drivers being retiring from the qualifying session and not setting a time. So it's going to be interesting to see how they affect the upcoming race, considering their pace where they should be. So now, with that in mind, we're going to wait for the next couple of minutes just to see as everyone gets themselves ready. Just a reminder of the driver's standings at this moment in time. We've currently got Diego Zorzo and Luca Rapassa, who are leading the way, but Diego Zorzo retiring from F1 racing at the midway through the season, and Luca Rapassa being banned. We've got 29 points now for Larry Tolke to catch to make sure he can overthrow Diego Zorzo. Tamas Cockney, 36 points to catch. And we're going to get going to racing because it's going to go to 5 red lights for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. This lights out, and away we go. We're going to see Pascal Ranelli get a decent start there, ahead of Jensen Rosen. Jensen Rosen dives it up the inside. Can he take it into turn one? Jensen Rosen left the door and made it work, and we made his way into P1 ahead of Pascal Ranelli. Meanwhile, there's going to be contact further back, and that's going to cause safety car as Gabriel Mato is out of the session, and the safety car is certainly being deployed as everyone immediately comes to a halt. Jensen Rosen gets ahead of Ranelli. Gabriel Contino remains P3. Thomas Cockney ahead of Florian Pafanzelta. Oliver Knott, Zigzling Lindhart, Larry Tolkien, Voltec, Steg, Luca Bessina, Alexi Caveri, and Valentino Labella, as well as Liam Stevens, Andrea Dordencio, Demi Curiel, Cameron Dowds, and Lawrence Patton. I wonder if any of them were caught up in any incident with Amato, but unfortunately, we cannot see, can we see any damage on any of the drivers who were further back? Not quite at the moment. And that is very unfortunate there for Gabriel Amato, who has ended his day on lap 1 of the session. And that is very, very unfortunate for him. Jensen Rosen, though, getting the perfect start for him, gets into lead in turn 1 and turn 2. And Pascal Ranelli could not do too much, but Ranelli has managed to keep himself in P2. But as things stand, it gets very, very interesting now for Ranelli, because Jensen Rosen will now have to do some defending once we get to this restart. However, this restart will not be happening anytime soon. They're gonna they literally have got to do another lap of safety car at least, as they all will have to bunch up. Has anyone got any sort of damage off that first chicane, or is everyone going to continue on as things stand? So you can watch them all kind of just make sure, as we see someone go into the pits, that is one of the RBs, that's Florian Pafanzelta, who comes into the pit lane. We'll see what he and same with Lucas Bessina at the moment, and that is lap 2. As that is on lap 2, as we go into lap 2 of 25, and everyone just kind of got to wait now and go for a delayed start for a lot of them, because some of them didn't even make any sort of progress or get into anything major. Oliver not sitting in the same position he started in. Everyone else gaining positions off the back of the likes of the 2 RBs. Well, one RB retiring, the other one falling back to the back of the field, and Lucas Bessina in the Sauber dropping to the back of the field due to him pitting as well. So we're going to see as they all kind of just line them up, and they're going to go in single file formation for the next one. Will we get going again for this next lap? Probably not, but we're going to see medium tyres for the top 6, but then we get some hard tyres down towards the back of the field. And at the moment, it's going to be a case of, can the medium runners cut away from the hard runners, or will they preserve their tyres for longer and then just kind of use them in defence better? We'll see how that makes a difference as things stand. We'll see the Williams lead the way and just try and get the tyre attempts in those tyres, because at the moment it is going to be a very long night in terms of if we keep getting safety cars, because it's very difficult to keep the tyre temps in up when you're under safety car, especially on the medium and the hard compound. Not so much on the softs, but and maybe they'll be okay on the mediums. But if you're on the hards at the back of the grid, you've got to be careful with how much you're staying behind the driver and not warming up those tyres, and how much you're weaving to get those tyres warmed up and get them up to temperature early enough, so when you get going, you're not going to get left for dust. Not just by other hard tyre runners, but by the medium tyre runners. You don't want to lose too much time as things stand, as Gabriel Mato leaves the session. Unfortunate day for him. He seemed to have a solid qualifying, and that's been his day done before we even ended the first. Got through turn 3, really. We continue on though with the drivers now going through under safety car, and at the moment it is just manage your tyres, make sure you sort yourself out. I'm sure some of these drivers may have underfueled as well, so then this gives an opportunity to gain back that fuel later, and meaning that they don't have to underfuel. They won't end up with a heavy car at the end of the race, which can cause a lot of time loss, particularly when the drivers are so close in pace. So now we're in sector 1 and we just wait for everyone to get going. Like you say, the top 6 medium runners, then we have a couple medium runners further back, but mainly hard runners for the second half of the grid. It's pretty much a good split of 60-40 really once in terms of tyres. Yeah, 7 drivers on hards, the rest on mediums at the moment. 9 on mediums. No, sorry, 10 on mediums. So 7, yeah, it's about 65-35. So yeah, it's going to be a very we're going to kind of see 2 splits. Larry Tolkey leading the way on the hard tyre runners. Will he get passed by or let pass the Voltec Steg, his teammate, soon enough, as we head round under safety car again? We see the drivers just kind of pacing himself as safety car will come in this lap, so we'll start getting some action again very, very shortly, as we know. Yeah, Jensen Rosen getting in, maintaining the pace. He has now become the safety car. He is now preparing this safety car for the opportunity to get himself pushing away from Rinelli. He is now going to give himself the opportunity to pounce at the least opportune time for the rest of the field. And is that now or is that later? It is now. It is Jensen Rosen who pulls away and will get us a green flag racing as we enter lap 4 of 25. We go down towards turn 1. Is there any opportunity for Rinelli to get by? Not quite. There's going to be an opportunity though for Gabriel Cadino to dive up the inside of the Ferrari. Can't get anything done there as Rinelli shuts the door on the Aston Martin. We continue on up towards turn 4 and 5 as we go into sector 1. These drivers are now going to have to deal with the dirty air of the driver in front, except for one. That is Jensen Rosen, who leads the way. He's going to continue his way through the field, continue his way through sector 1, snaking through the as the pack goes through the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Can Rinelli get himself keep himself close to Jensen Rosen, or will he have to be attacked by Gabriel Cadino, who is trying to almost push the Ferrari around that sector 2 hairpin as we go through towards the right and the left? DRS will not be enabled as this moment it will be available on the next time of passing that DRS detection point. As we now see the drivers using the slipstream, using their ERS and battery more efficiently. We're going to see as they snake their way through into sector 3 now, through the left and the right and then another right. They're going to use the slipstream and the ERS. They're going to keep each other nice and close, nice and tight. Currently, the pack of 4 very close, but it might become a dive around the outside. It's a damage for the Williams of Thomas Cockney into the back of Pascal Rinelli. That is a very late manoeuvre. He got very late on the brakes and it didn't end up working out for him. He's going to go with damage now. He continues on in this race, whether it's going to significantly cost him or not. We're going to see Oliver Nutt up the inside, looking at the rears, trying to survive the call, make it into the corner. Thomas Cockney trying to push him to the limits. He can't quite do it, but Oliver Nutt had to back out of that one as we go into sector 2. However, that is going to be costly for the McLaren because we've got the middle Williams with damage, who is going to be struggling through this section if he's got major amounts. You can see the car is struggling to turn in that little bit more, and Thomas Cockney is now going to be livid in terms of having that damage. It's going to be a better exit for the McLaren as he goes around the outside of the long left-hander as we try to get by. He's trying to make sure he get by so he can get into that DRS and keeping that DRS side by side now all the way down towards the right left chicane of towards the end of sector 2. It's going to continue on as Oliver Nutt moves his way in an excellent but long-winded move against the Williams. Next up will be Sixten Lenthart as he's going to try and get his way by. DRS is now enabled for all that is involved as the Aston Martin of Gabriel Cadino goes off the circuit, gaining himself a warning at the very least there as we now goes all the way up towards the hairpin now. Is there any opportunity for anyone to go by? It will be opportunity for Gabriel Cadino to go up the inside of Jensen Rosen as Pascal Rinelli has moved his way by as well. Pascal Rinelli up towards the lead. Jensen Rosen down to P2. That's going to be maybe P3 for the Williams by the time we get down to turn 1. Gabriel Cadino is going to try and make a move. Not quite there. That's a fake good dive by Thomas Cogley. Gets 6, then Lindhart moves his way up to P5. Thomas moves us down to P6. P6. He's trying to move his way back into that position, but Lucas Bessiner has retired from this race, becomes our second retiree after something may be happening further back down the field. As we now go through towards the end of sector 1, these drivers are trying to maintain themselves the best opportunities here. However, the best opportunity may be slipped away from Vortex Steg. If Thomas Cockney is holding him up with that damage, he's going to go into the hairpin. I wonder if the Alpine knows of that front wing damage to the Williams. I'm sure he could see it as he went through that left-handed hairpin. As we now continue through the right and the left, the Williams certainly not losing, well, certainly not being as easy going as the Alpine. As the Williams lets the Alpine of Vortex Steg go by for P6. Tamas down to P7. As we can see, his damage is really starting to affect him, especially on that camera angle there. We now go up towards the final corner. We see Alexi Cavero move his way by Tamas as well as the Williams. As it's going to be a battle further back, Angelo D'Ortenzio is moving his way up towards the top 10, moves his way into P9, potentially P8 as Tamas Cockney gets ahead. So does Larry Tolkey. And Angelo D'Ortenzio and Larry Cockney side by side down towards the first chicane. Can Angelo D'Ortenzio make his move? He does make his move. He's gone from the back of the grid in P about 16, I believe he was at the start of the race, or P17. He's now up to P8, and he's going to be getting hunted though by Larry Tolkey, who is not going to give up, not going to give it give an end to me. He wants that to gain as many points to edge himself closer towards that title. He's got 3 races to catch Diego Zorzo. He's got a few points to gain every race at the very least. Minimum. He needs 5th place average, I think it is in the end, to win that title. And at the moment, currently P9 is not doing it for him. Pascal Ranelli though is doing at the moment, ahead of Jensen Rosen, Gabriel Quintino, Oliver Knott, 610 Lindart, Vortex Steg, Alexi Cavero, Angelo D'Ortenzio, Larry Tolkey, Liam Stevens are our top 10. Damien Carrillo in P11, ahead of Thomas Cockney, Karen Dowd, Florian Papanzelta, Lawrence Patton, and Valentino Labella. As that is our 16 remaining drivers. They say all snake their way up towards the end of lap 7 and to start lap 8. It is certainly not over for all these drivers. They are going to continue fighting as we go down towards turn 1. Any opportunities for these top 3 to make any sort of moves, as everyone is just kind of making sure they have the ERS, the management, and make sure their engine is certainly cooled at this stage. We go through turn 1. Jensen Rosen unable to do anything against Pascal Ranelli. Ranelli, though, is managing his ERS as they just manages the pace of the pack. Everyone still within DRS of one another, up and down, up till P12, the top 11. All got DRS on each other. Cameron Dowd's just losing out on that as he sits with Florian Papanzelta, Thomas Cockney, Lawrence Patton, and Valentino Labella just behind him. So it's going to be it's a tall ask from these drivers to try and make any sort of moves. At the moment, it is continuing to be a race of manage your tyres, manage your ERS, and manage your engines, manage every single aspect. There's so much to manage in these modern day Formula 1 cars, and we'll see that management certainly happening more as we enter the 2026 era of not just this of real life, but in this game, because it will be staying with F1 25 for a 2026 DLC. We had it announced today that we will have some news as of the 7th of March, so just 2 months. Sorry, 7th? It's 2nd of March, I think. 4th of March actually is. 4th of March, that's the one. Just going through my notes. 4th of March, we'll see F1 26 news announced. Supposedly, we'll see as that makes a difference. We can see now Jensen Rosen, DRS on Pascal Ranelli, not doing anything at this stage. Everyone just bunches up as the DRS is being used. Tamas comes into pit lane to assume get a new front wing, and he burns up his tyres that much more with having to use up the tyres to make corners as much as these guys with the loss of downforce off that front wing. And at the moment is still just everyone trying to manage and trying to outwit everyone else in terms of tyre life, tyre strategy, ERS management. Everything needs to be managed. As Thomas Cockney gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That just gets worse, doesn't it? Sometimes, unfortunately, some people's day, it just does not have the racing god's luck on their side. And at the moment, we say Pascal Ranelli continuing to lead. We go through past Jensen Rosen, and at the moment, the Gabriel Quintino is trailing both of them, but Jensen Rosen has dropped back that little bit more this lap. He's currently, well, he's 7 tenths behind. He's now half a second behind. As things stand, into the hairpin we go. Can Ranelli get past defend Rosen? Can Rosen defend from Quintino? Can Quintino make any sort of impression on the Williams, or will the Williams make the impression on the Ferrari? We're going to see as Rosen looks to have DRS, but doesn't make anything stick there. We're going to look up and down the field as everyone just in that DRS train at the moment. Nothing really being and happening, as everyone's just managing their pace, managing their tyres. And it's just a case of whether who wants to make their way up the field. Some drivers further back will probably be inundated with frustration because the driver in front has that DRS as well. At the moment, nothing is going to be happening. All the way down towards the hairpin now. We are on lap 10 of 25, and at the moment, it is going to get very... Sorry, just quickly skip through that. It is going to get very, very difficult for the drivers as they become... later in the race in terms of trying to make overtakes, because if you're further down the field, you're going to have a much more difficult time of things. But the drivers who are further up the field are just managing, because you've got the engine temps at a bit more optimal position than the ones further down. You've got the tyre temps in a better position. Pascal Ranelli certainly pushes that much more through that section in comparison to Rosen, but Jensen Rosen at the moment in the Williams managed to keep himself back in with the DRS that he gains from this second half of the lap. It seems like Ranelli could really pull it away here as Jensen Rosen pulls the trigger. P2 man into the pit lane. He comes and he's decided to pull the trigger, be the first of our stoppers and the only of our stoppers, meaning both the Williams have pitted now. That has opened the gap for Ranelli. He's going to try and pull that 10th or so to try and get away from Gabriel Quintino. And at the moment, Ranelli has got an opportunity here to pull himself far and far away, as Valentino Labella has also joined Jensen Rosen in the pit lane. Tamas, fastest lap of the race on the hard tyres. He is currently P16. He's going to be, he's certainly pushing, and he's just caught up to Valentino Labella, but he has that 3-second time penalty and had that front wing damage earlier on. Is that a sign that the undercut is working and the teammate tactics between the Williams potentially saying that the hards are better at this stage, and they should, and pace wise they can theoretically go to the end from here for Jensen Rosen at a solid pace, potentially looking to do a fair bit of an undercut. However, DRS for Gabriel Quintino almost lost. He was outside of it briefly, but he's now back in it. However, is that going to be enough, as here comes the Ferrari, who is now pulled out that 1 second window? Is that enough? As Gabriel Quintino, with that time penalty as well, is now causing opportunity to be lost for the other drivers, as Ranelli may be pushing that much more to try and keep himself in the best position possible. As Gabriel Quintino moves himself into the pit lane, and that allows Oliver Knott into P2 and the rest of the field to move them way up. Adrian D'Ortenzio joins the Aston Martin in the pit lane as the slow pit stop phase begins to happen. But we're going to see Pascal Ranelli move his way into the race lead. We'll wonder where the Aston Martin and Williams come out in comparison to one another. Jensen Rosen will come out over a second clear, 2 seconds clear. Gabriel Quintino, that outlap crucial, if I might say so myself, because at the moment he is now going to put himself right in the good position, potentially take the race lead, unless Ranelli is going for a long overcut and try and use the tyre advantage later on in the race to try and bring himself back into it, especially when drivers on the medium tyres start switching over as well. We'll start to see that one having an effect. However, we should be looking at the battle for P2 now. It's Oliver Knott, 1.8 seconds back from Pascal Ranelli. Pascal Ranelli managed to get himself now that DRS window after the pit stops of Jensen Rosen and Gabriel Contino. Oliver Knott, Sixten Lintar, Vortex Steg, Alexi Cavero, Larry Tolkey, Liam Stevens, Damien Carrillo, Cameron Dowd, Florian Pafanzelta, Lawrence Pat, and Florian Pafanzelta, all in this one, all in this fight as they all start coming into the pit lane, maybe, including our race leader of Pascal Ranelli, as the hard runners remain out on track. And now, is this the opportunity for the hard runners, apart from Vortex Steg, who has to pit anyway, so he's on the mediums? And will our hard runners make all the difference? We'll see whether Jensen Rosen jumps ahead of Ranelli. He does at this moment in time. He has jumped ahead of Ranelli. Not just him though. So has Gabriel Cadino. So has Angelo D'Ortenzio. As Pascal Ranelli has suddenly ended up in P4 on the road after all that. Yes, he's got a cut, and he almost ended up probably P5. He's had an absolute shocker in the pits. Maybe he's timed his pit stop too late, because he's now right behind with Oliver Knott, who was a good 2 seconds back almost by the end of that one. Ranelli, all of a sudden, in a bit of bother here. He does have D'Ortenzio, his teammate, who is right in front of him. However, it isn't exactly the best opportunity here, because D'Ortenzio will be wanting to fight this one himself. Jensen Rosen's left the session. I'm not sure if I actually have him as a... I think I actually have Jensen him as a thing. So if someone is here that can go, please do so. Pascal Ranelli, being let by Angelo D'Ortenzio very quickly. So yeah, that's a very unfortunate day for Jensen Rosen. And at the moment, yeah, that is a very, very unfortunate move for the thing to happen for the Williams. It's now left Quintino, Ranelli, D'Ortenzio fighting it out for victory. Meanwhile, Alex Cavero moves his way into the race lead while fighting Vortex Steg. Vortex Steg is going to not give this one up though, as the Red Bull is going to make it 3 wide between the Alpine and the Red Bull. This is going to be tight as they go into the chicane. Alexi Cavero moves his way up into the race lead, while Vortex Steg and Larry Tolkey sit P2 and P3. That is almightily tight from those three. Alexi Cavero moves his way into the race lead. Vortex Steg is trying to do some mega form of overcut on the mediums, and Larry Tolkey currently on the hards, now sitting behind his teammate and probably asking, oh mate, we need to let swap round here as quickly as possible. We don't want to let Alex Cavero get away in the distance at this thing stand. And at the moment is very it's a very, very difficult thing for these drivers, as Alex Cavero, Vortex Steg, and Larry Tolkey all have to deal with trying to come back through the field with a fresher set of tyres later on in this race. However, is that going to be enough to overcome the likes of Gabriel Cadino, Pascal Ranelli, Angelo D'Ortenzio, Oliver Knott, and Sixten Lindart, as well as Florian Pafanzelta as well, who's down there as well? They're all still going to be in this. They're going to be all these guys. These guys have got to fight later on in this race. Meanwhile, contact between the Alpines is the as Vortex Steg wanted to go in the pit lane. Bit of miscommunication there from the Alpines. That's allowed Liam Stevens to go by against Larry Tolkien. Not quite here, as he decides to sit back behind. I'm very surprised he's decided to sit in P3 rather than take P2. Ranelli, fastest lap of the race, as he's now trying to catch Gabriel Contino, while he has D'Ortenzio and Oliver Knott behind him. We're on lap 15 of 25, and as things stand, it is still not over for the for anyone yet, as we've still got drivers, and it's still all to play for with the 16 drivers, or 15 now. Jensen Rosen's left the session, and at the moment, Larry Tolkey is now going to have DRS on Alexi Cavero as we go round the round towards the chicane now, braking into the right and sticking out the left as we go through to the DRS. Will Larry Tolkey use the DRS to get by Alexi Cavero, or will he continue to sit behind him? We'll see as we continue down towards the chicane. DRS, was it enough to get close up that time? Oh, now we'll have the full extent of this DRS zone all the way up towards the final corner. Is as you curve round, it's almost like a slingshot in some degree for these drivers as we go Up towards the final corner, not quite anything done there. Can the Alpine do anything into the turn 1, turn 2 chicane as they all look to come into the pit lane? Alex Cavera looks to come into the pit lane, same with Damien Kroll and Cameron Dowd, I believe, maybe entering that pit lane. No, he stays out. Where we see Larry Tolkien, Liam Stevens and Cameron Dowd lead the way now on track, but on a provisional lead, Gabriel Contino continues to lead the way ahead of Pascal Manelli. However, Gabriel Contino has that 3-second time penalty, which is it 3? Yeah, 3. Which makes all the difference at the moment. I'm dropping down to P8, P5 on track, P5 on pens by the end of this race. As Lorenz Patton joins his teammate in the 3-second time penalty club, as well as Thomas Clockney. So we've got 3 drivers now on 3-second time penalties on lap 16 of 25. You've got to be very careful from this point onwards of getting penalties, because it could really make or break your race at the moment. We now go right through towards the chicane. Can Pascal Manelli move his way back into the race lead on track, because on track once the top 3 have pitted for their mandatory pit stops this race. As we now go down towards the DRS for the Ferraris, they are really trying to reel in Gabriel Contino at the moment. The Aston Martin, though, is doing an excellent job in keeping them at bay. We now go up towards the final corner, and at the moment that final corner is going to be the deciding factor, but later on in the race, because this DRS is the most important DRS probably in terms of where you are on lap 24 of 25 and how you want to play this later on. If these guys remain this close, Liam Stevens remains out. Larry Tolkien, Cameron Downs enter the pit lane. Liam Stevens keeps himself going at this moment in time. Voltex Stigto currently a driver who, despite doing the same sort of strategy as what Gabriel Contino, Pascal Manelli, Andres Hortensio are doing, did pick those couple laps later, and maybe that makes a difference. Maybe Alex Cavero and Damien Curiel on the mediums make the difference. Maybe Larry Tolkien as well. We've got to see, got all this to play out yet, and maybe the tyre deficit is going to make a massive difference. We've still got 8 laps or 7.5 laps to go in this one, and with Gabriel Contino 3-second time penalty is now a case of does anyone else in that top group get that penalty, or is that going to be too little too late for these drivers? Is it going to be too little too late to get a penalty for any of these other drivers? Because at the moment, if Ranelli gets a penalty, he drops down into field. He does not want to make that risk. He wants to get this win, but he doesn't want to risk taking a 3-second time penalty and losing out on it entirely himself. He wants to win it on track, but can he do so without getting a penalty himself? We are going on to lap 18 of 25. Liam Stevens becomes the last driver to take his way into the pit lane as we go on to lap 18 of 25. At the moment, Ferraris P2, P3 will go 1 and 2 at the end of this one. Who is going to make the difference? Gabriel Contino's keeping them at a nice gap, but he really needs one of these all these 4 drivers behind him to get penalties, or someone to start fighting, to at least relieve the pressure off of him and allow him to pull a gap further. And at the moment, we are now seeing as Gabriel Contino will go through the long hairpin and try and pull himself out of DRS again, but he can't quite do it. He's sat around 9/10 by the time we get to this point in the circuit. And at the moment, it's become a different ball game. Liam Stevens moves his way up to P11 ahead of Valentino Labella as we start to see the rest of the field begin to make their charge. The rest of the medium runners begin to make their charge through the field. At the moment, we're starting to see Voltex stay as well on his hard run tyres, trying to make his way through. Maybe we'll see if that makes a difference. However, the gaps are quite large at this stage, and if you don't want to overcook your tyres at the moment, because that could make a grinding difference. And now we're going to see fighting further up front. We're going to see 3-wide action between Larry Tolkien, Damien Carrillo, and Alexi Guevara. As Alexi Guevara up the inside, maybe trying to make the move stick on Damien Carrillo, trying to make a move defense against Damien Carrillo. Damien Carrillo, the Mercedes, trying to attack and gets past the Red Bull. And they tried to get past Larry Tolkien, but Larry Tolkien got ahead. I think of them both, and that Alpine has now moved to P8, P9 for Larry Carrillo, Alex Guevara P10, and at the moment it is still all on for these drivers. Valentino Labella has left the session after retiring in the pit lane, but it's not going to be up yet. So we now start to see the drivers begin to make their charge towards the front. There's only a couple seconds in it, but it's whether they have their tyres will last towards the end of the race at the pace they are pushing. Someone, Larry Tolkien, certainly pushing. He knows that he needs to get his move on. He knows the way to win Division 1 title is to make sure he gets himself at least P5 on average in the last 3 races. That is a very tall order in the grand scheme of things in this division, and he's currently P8. He needs to make sure he gets on P5 on average so he can at least beat the current Drivers' Championship leader, Diego Zorzo. However, he's got to bear in mind Gabriel Contino, Pascal Ranelli, and Joe Hortensio will still be gaining points over him. So while yes, he wants to gain average P5 finisher, he needs to make sure he gets more, so then he ends up not losing out his P3 position on the drivers who are still racing in this season. And at the moment it is still all up for grabs into the final couple of races. And at the moment it is going to be non-stop, or a case of will Diego Zorzo win the title by having such a good season, and enough of a good season that he didn't even need these last couple races, or will any of them drivers be able to topple him? It is still all up for grabs, and who can topple him if someone is able to do so. Gabriel Contino, though, still sitting at that 9-10th region, can't get out of that DRS. He does now. Is that enough? Has he got out of DRS? I don't think he quite has at the detection point. I don't think he quite did there. He hasn't. And that's allowed Ranelli back in. And then 5 laps to go. It is going to be a difficult task for for Contino to try and get a 3-second time penalty annulled, because at the moment it is really causing him havoc. Liam Stevens joins the 3-second time penalty club as we now go towards the final corner, as Ranelli now tries to pull himself back into the into the fight with Contino. He wants this race win on track, but however, Contino certainly has very solid pace throughout Sector 1 and the first half of Sector 2. Is that going to be enough to manage to get him out of DRS this time? We're on lap 21 of 25. Is there opportunity to be risen for any driver who is still down the order? We currently have DRS trained from 1st to 7th, then 8th to 11th, and at the moment it is still all up for grabs, as all these drivers are still very close as they all continue up towards the hairpin. Now Ranelli has now pulled himself even closer to them when he was before against Contino, and Contino maybe have used up the best of his tyres, as Ranelli is trying, maybe has conserved his tyres enough to maybe go for it now. And at this stage of the race, this is crucial moments in our season. 3 races to go, anything can happen, and at the moment it is really showing it as we go round towards the chicane now. Ranelli, Contino, Ranelli, Hortensio, Knott, Lindhart, Lesteg, Fafan Zelton, Tolkien, Stevens, and Carril, as well as Confero, Dowd, Patton, Cogley, and Rosen. Kind of, he's disconnected, but they're all still in this race nonetheless. And is that going to be enough? Who's going to gain enough points to make the difference in the standings? We've got still a couple 3 laps to go. Is there going to be a Ranelli to try and make his way by? He doesn't. He's pulled off to the left hand side to try and cool his engine, cool his tyres, as everyone just trying to find himself a bit of breathing space at this stage. And that is going to be the crucial thing. Actually, I should have really checked this before. I actually only got updated literally before the stream, but Tamas is actually only 26 points behind now. Diego Zorzo Larry Tolke 29 points behind, and at the moment it is still all on for these drivers. Needs to have a pass late and have to have Gabby as a brother, probably. But at the moment he needs to get himself close enough to do that. At the moment, with only 3 laps to go, he needs to make sure that he does it the right time. He doesn't want to leave himself too predictable for Quintino at this opportunity, or D'Ortenzio, because if he leaves himself too predictable, it could end up costing him the race win. Yes, he might not lose it. He won't lose it to Quintino, but he could certainly lose it to D'Ortenzio. And at the moment, with drivers with 3 races to go, 41 or 49 points covering the top 8 in the standings, but with 3 races to go, 25 or 26 of them off 2 drivers who are not top 2 in the standings, and they're not racing anymore. So is there the opportunity for all these drivers to try, and I mean try, and make the difference in this fight? As we now, DRS down towards turn 1, nothing at this stage. We're on lap 23 of 25. It is all about mind games, but it has everyone made themselves who has made their bed and who is going to lie in it. Because at the moment, it's going to be Pascal Ranelli, D'Angelo D'Ortenzio. Oliver Knott's out of the session. He's out at the chicane. He's gone into the barriers. He's clipped the inside wall at turn 4, and he has knocked off his wheel, and that is day over for Oliver Knott on this late of the race, and that is crucial. Oliver Knott, unfortunate day for the McLaren. And after that long of the race, with only a couple laps left, devastating for the McLaren. But we continue on anyway, because there's no safety car with 3 laps to go, so it doesn't concern anyone in this top group. It is now a case of who has put themselves in the best position. The wall of death, every race had a victim. Certainly, F1 league races were all of champions in some degree, because I've seen, like you say, every single league race I've contacted around here, it's not an if that will claim someone, it's a when it claims someone. And it's claimed Oliver Knott on lap 23 of 25 of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And at the moment, we're going to see a move from Vortex Steg, trying to make a move past Sixten Lindhardt. But Sixten Lindhardt unable to make his way, unable to keep himself to get the best traction, because here comes Vortex Steg, who takes himself to the outside line. It's the Alpine going to put himself and insert himself into the last part of the season. He got sent out right by the Mercedes. He's got to let him back through, but he's going to be only by the front wing. They're going to still be side by side into the chicane. He's going to get pushed off again. 3-second time penalty for Vortex Steg, and he's just thrown himself back onto the circuit. He has done that. Is real frustration. A 3-second time penalty this late on in the race. 2 of them warnings certainly coming from those 2 chicanes. Lorenz Patton earned himself another 3-second time penalty, and that is really, really crucial for these drivers, as the 3-second time penalties are really starting to cause people significant issues. At the moment, a lot of the drivers who are the closest in the standings are really struggling. Gabriel Quintino leads the way, but at the moment, he's got a 3-second time penalty, and that 3-second time penalty will drop him to probably around P5 at the moment. And it is really, really going to be a crucial thing by the end of this race. Just over a lap to go. DRS for the Ferraris as they now go up towards the line and up towards the hairpin. It's not a matter of whether the Aston Martin survives, it's a matter of whether the Ferraris make sure they get around this final lap without penalties, and who comes out on top. It is going to be Ranelli, D'Ortenzio, or Quintino, Ranelli, D'Ortenzio. That's probably not going to be the order we finish this racing in this next lap, but we'll come across this line a lap later as we go into the first chicane. We go. Quintino gets himself done nicely. He's going to have to charge up his battery. He knows that there's not going to be much to fight here, but he needs to hope and pray both the Ferraris get a penalty in this sector. If they do, it is going to be crucial. Quintino wants to win this on track no matter what anyway, but if either of them get a penalty, that boosts his opportunity in the standings. Sixten Lindhardt is going to potentially be on for his maiden podium, or at least maiden podium since I've been here, for the driver. I'm not sure when he actually joined, if he's been in earlier seasons, but at the moment he's on for a podium here with penalties applying. But we're going to see as we go, it might be cut and dry. Very close at the moment with Gabriel Coutinho. Defend now from Pascal Ranelli, Alejandro Hortensio. Where do these guys come out in line with each other? It's going to be very, very close for these drivers. Actually, it's going to be very close for 16 Lindhardt to get on the podium. He's got to gain a couple attempts here to make sure he gets back by the Aston Martin. That's actually Vortex sticks in the barriers. Vortex sticks out the race. Is it? I heard the spin. I heard something happen around the outside. Goes Pascal Ranelli. He's going to defend, but that's going to allow Angelo Hortensio to get back by, and that's going to allow Angelo Hortensio to take victory potentially. We're going to go 3 wide, turn the line. Is it going to be Angelo Hortensio? It is Angelo Hortensio by 18 hundredths of a second to Ranelli. While Quintino, 3 seconds off after the penalty, still gets the podium, but by 300ths of a second, he would have been P3 anyway. But it's Angelo Hortensio who completes the P16 to P1, and he wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Pascal Ranelli P2, Quintino P, Gabriel Quintino P3, 16 Lindhardt P4, Florian Pavanzelta P5, Liam Stevens P6, Larry Tolke P7, P8 for Damien Carril, Alex Guevara P9, Lorenz Patton will be P10. I think Cameron Dowd's left at the end of the session. Once the session ended, so that won't help RLT, I'll tell you that. So that is our race. Angelo Hortensio, another great drive, and that 3 wide at the moment, the end in that 3 seconds wasn't there for Quintino. That would have been even more frustrating for him. But at the end of the day, that is going to leave Angelo Hortensio with the victory over everyone racing at Angelo Hortensio. Fastest lap, Thomas Cockney. Driver of the day, Angelo Hortensio. Damien Carril, most overtakes. Cleanest driver, 16 Lindhardt. Thoroughly deserved them things. Angelo Hortensio wins this. Ranelli, P2. Quintino, P3. Lindhardt, P4. Pavanzelta, P5. Liam Stevens, P6. Larry Tolke, P7. Damien Carril in P8. P9 for Alex Guevara. Thomas Cockney, P10. Lorenz Patton. Karen Dowd, Vortex Steg. Jensen Rosen, Oliver Knott. Valentina Labella, Lucas Bessina, and Gabriel Mato complete the session. I think Cameron Dowd actually finishes P10, but he retired after the line and left the session. Well, not after the line, he didn't retire, he left the session, so that meant he finished P10 at the end of it. But that is the end of this race. A weekend for Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. What a very decent race towards the end, and at the start, but a very, very tiring midpoint at the end. At the end of the day, that is the session over. We're going to go to our calendar. Brazil will be our next race next week on January the 14th. Then Abu Dhabi is our final race of the season on January 21st. That is 3 races to go. Everything to happen.